and we're going to move into the National Football League. And obviously, George and I have had a leave of absence.
Well, here's my thing. Going into the season, the biggest distraction, the biggest worry, the biggest concern was, what is Michael Sam going to do? Who's he showering with? How's he going to do? How'd that shit turn out?
Yeah.
How now that having a gay NFL player is the biggest concern of everyone else, is that still... Is anyone...
All you stupid motherfuckers that were making this headline news, I'm like, let Michael Sam is a talented athlete. Fucking, who gives a fuck what his sexual preference is in your religion?
The ESPN had the audacity to talk about his shower. What? Stop.
They're just trying to create shit, okay?
Exactly.
The only people that are allowed to create shit are myself and George. Get it, right? You just farted up in the studio and trying to make me fall the fuck out of my chair. Anyway, the first thing we're going to talk about is obviously the whole Ray Rice thing, and
dirty.
It's dirty, and it's some time has transpired between we saw the video come out. What the fuck is that?
Dude, Instagram's a beautiful place.
But Ray Rice, obviously we knew about this at the beginning of the year. Then the video came out. Obviously, everybody knows about that. Showed everything that happened inside the elevator.
But then shit got
crazy.
Really fucking messy.
Really
because you have Goodell saying, I don't know what's on the video. To the point where he had a national interview and the woman said, I noticed you changed your opinion. Now this is the only problem I have with this whole Ray Rice thing.
Right.
Ray Rice got in trouble. You suspended him 2 games. Done. Close the door. I don't care what comes after that. You can't go back and retry somebody for something they've already done.
Right.
Can't do it. Unless you're a parent and that's your child. But this isn't a parent-child situation. So it's different. So then you ban him for the rest of the season because you allegedly didn't know what was on the video. Okay, that's a lie.
Yeah.
That is
what the fuck was on the video. Right.
Because the Ravens knew what was on that elevator video shortly after it was done. And by shortly, I mean same day. So, if the Ravens knew, how the fuck didn't you know, bitch? So Roger sat there and said, on an interview, the woman goes, after watching the video, I see you changed your opinion. So was it the video that changed your opinion? No! But I watched the video and I noticed, wow, that's pretty simple. So then we extended his suspension.
Well, then how
Roger, did you? Thank you.
Yeah.
So Roger contradicted himself. And the idea that the Ravens somehow knew, but they didn't let Roger see it. So they had the video and the evidence said, Roger, don't worry about it.
Because the bottom line and what, Outside the Lines is reporting now is and what it's showing us, you saw Roger Goodell's press conference yesterday, and it was the first time where I'm thinking the media is winning. They had great questions for him. He looked like he was kind of beating around the bush and not being concise with his answers and not having good answers. And then you start to hear, and then after the press conference, all this stuff comes out about what Outside the Lines is found out. And basically, they found out that, Steve Bisciotti,
owner of the Ravens,
Dick Cass,
president,
and Ozzie Newsome knew what happened.
Right.
To the point where one of their employees had contacted, the police officer, knew about at the casino, knew what was on the tape, said it's fucked up, and they immediately at that point in time, they were like, you know what? We're going to start lobbying Goodell. We're going to talk to Liddell and see if he can go easy on Ray Rice. And we need this fucking video not to get out in the public because they know what's going to happen when the video gets out in the public. The same thing that we've seen happen over the last 3 weeks. The NFL's getting pushed to the forefront. The Ravens organization looks fucked up. The NFL looks fucked up. And so the guy that they pay, this one owner, the guy they pay, Goodell, and this is what you people have to realize. Goodell is paid by the fucking NFL. There's a reason that Dan Snyder came to his defense so fast because you know what? The Washington Redskins are still the Washington Redskins. The name has not changed because they pay Roger Goodell. He is a fucking puppet, people, a $44 million puppet. And when these guys...
That puppet did make them $60 million in TV, or 60% increase in TV revenue.
That's important.
Just saying.
If you're a businessman, if you own a franchise and I own a franchise, and you're looking at Roger Goodell and you're like, well, our ratings are going up. Well, he covered this for me. Well, he hasn't pushed me to get the name changed. Are you going to want to let a guy go like that? It's going to take a lot to let a guy go like that. It's got to be a lot of, outcry from the public. So
some other things with this story is that Ozzie Newsome and Harbaugh were ready to release Ray Rice.
And they should have.
And you're right. Eventually they did.
But why couldn't they?
Because the owner and the president said,
So we're just calling him Bashady from now on, not Bashady.
Right,
Bashady.
he's definitely shady. But my whole, like, there's two. I'll get to my theory later after we talk about Greg Hardy and we talk about Adrian Peterson. But my major issue with this is Goodell stood up there and, in my opinion, lied. Mm-hmm. He basically tried to use the same defense that he won't let the players in the NFL said. He said ignorance is not an excuse.
Right.
Well, if ignorance isn't an excuse, what's lying then?
Yeah.
Because you used lies, in my opinion, you can deny it all you want, but you're full of shit. Because if the team got the evidence, you had to know, and these people were obviously working with you to cover this whole thing up. I don't see how you weren't involved or at least told. Yeah. So, in reality, if this was Japan, because the way they handle businesses, you would step down. Right. But you have 45 million reasons not to step down. You should resign. You should stop holding this position, in my opinion. If you were a man, and I don't know if I could do it. I can say that. But I think he should.
And this is the thing. I'm going to interrupt you really quick. In Roger Goodell's mind, he's thinking,
oh shit,
it's $44 million a year. Do I want to walk away from this? And there's some way that he's sitting, in his mind, I'm sure he's thinking, you know what? The owner, but Bashady, he's the one that pushed me to do this 2-week suspension. He's the one that came to me and lobbied for me to go easy on Ray Rice. And you know what? He's an owner. And then Mara and Rooney, the owners of the Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's their confidant, you know, and they've been on his side, right? And I'm going to tell you what, and George and I talked about it, and you know on the show, we didn't give that is old white money.
Talking about like Rockefeller.
Rockefeller money.
Think about
the Rooney family and the Mara family, the Giants owner and the Steelers owner, that is old white money. That is fucking power in this fucking country.
You hear the thing where people say good old boy network. That we're not talking about like, yeah, man, yeehaw. No, we're talking about buddies looking out for buddies. Mm-hmm. If you go and you look at the corporate system in our country, mm-hmm. you will see the CEO of Microsoft sits on the board of executives for Apple. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make much sense. If you look at it, they're competing companies. Mm-hmm. That's just the way shit works. If I owned a company and I needed somebody on the board of executives, you don't think I'd hire him? Why wouldn't he? He's my buddy. I need his opinion, and I can bankroll. Here's some money.
Right. And at the end of the day, George and I are worried about our fucking pockets.
Right.
You know.
Yes, we have competing products. Yes, we're good. Here's the thing. You don't think the Steelers and the Ravens benefit from that hated rivalry? Because you donkeys go buy all the merchandise, you tune in, that's a big hype game. Why wouldn't they want to keep that alive? I mean, it's just, there's so many fucked up things once you peel back that curtain. I don't think we all want to know what's behind that curtain. Let the shit work, shut your mouths and move on.
Yeah.
The problem is social media. Social media is going to be the death of the American athlete as we know it. Yeah. Ask Jameis Winston.
Yeah. And you see that. And let me tell you something. You have a scandal. I really have.
This shit's bad.
It's bad.
This is, in my opinion, probably this might be a little extreme, but this is the only thing I can draw. This is the NFL's akin to Watergate.
It is.
I mean, this is literally. I think it's that bad.
It is like the steroid era in Major League Baseball. You know, and let me tell you something. It's right now. You got to give a lot. The NBA they're fucking smart. They're learning a lot because
so is baseball. They're all going, oh shit.
Now, in the NBA, baseball, you have a field of players. Football, you have a field of players. But let's imagine if one of these things happened to LeBron or Kobe.
That.
No, I'm just saying, LeBron or Kobe or one of your big Tim Duncan, one of your big. Do you see the impact that would have? Because you don't have a lot of players in the NBA, and you know those jerseys sell. And if you all of a sudden you have one of the major faces, like if something happens to Kobe or Tim Duncan or fucking LeBron, that fucks your league up bad.
And let me look at it this way. Adrian Peterson, we all know him. We either feel, but before this, we all had one way to feel about him or not. Right. If Adrian Peterson went away tomorrow, that changes nothing. That's not going to change your ticket sales. That's not going to change anything. Uh-huh. If LeBron James goes away tomorrow, you will sink a fucking organization. Yeah. If Kobe Bryant, I mean, he's just about going away. Right. And look how bad the Lakers
are
and have been. Mm-hmm. Look at Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant, baseball, if they lose one of their top dogs, mm-hmm. there's way too many people. The depth in football mm-hmm. and baseball, the sport doesn't revolve around one player. A basketball team.
And these owners and these basketball owners, they know. Like, if they see something, you saw what happened in Atlanta. If they see anything, they're like, you could fuck our business up.
Yep.
If it's a player, a few years ago, the shit at the Palace, fuck you guys, get out for a year. They didn't play. They
No.
went up in the stands. They were gone.
Mhm.
For everybody that didn't think the NFL handled this, thinks the NFL handled this right, you're fucking crazy.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? You saw guys go up in the stands in an NBA basketball game.
They were gone for a year.
They were gone
Done.
for a year.
First time, hammered,
First time.
sledgehammer, dude.
Done.
And the thing is we've sat on this show saying Roger Goodell doesn't play games. Oh, wait. Maybe he does.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's held these players' feet to the fire. He's quick to ban them. He's quick to this. But on this one, you had to look at it and go, 2 games? That's weird. Because you're watching him banish a player after his second time getting popped for weed.
Right.
So you smoke weed and get caught twice, you're gone for a year. You fucking cold cock this shit out of your girl.
And this
Someone calls you on the phone and you're like, hey, 2 games.
Now, you come in at some point in time, he has to face Roger Goodell, and Ray Rice comes in and he says, Roger Goodell asks him, and he says, what happened? And from what it said, he said, I hit her. And maybe I don't know what he said to Goodell, and it doesn't really matter, but he said, I hit her. Now,
Done.
if you're Roger Goodell and
It's a
you
wrap.
know he hit her, and then on top of that, you see the first video that shows him dragging his then-fiancée.
How did she get on the floor?
How the fuck did she get on the floor? It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
One
You
would
should-
think.
Mhm.
One would think.
Yeah.
But it's not. So that's my problem with Roger. Roger has not been what he's done supposedly the rest of the way. He's been transparent. He tells you everything. Da, da, da. So now you have to look at him and be like, I don't believe a fucking word that comes out of his mouth.
Right.
And that's the problem. His credibility and this whole idea where he's judge, jury, and executioner, you got to kill that.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, he needs to stop working for the owners. He needs to almost be an independent consultant of the NFL who steps in and explains to them how things should be done.
Yeah.
And he works independently from a fund or somewhere else. The owner should have no power over the commissioner.
Right.
That dude needs to be a standalone entity with no influence from anyone. He reports to, I don't know who he should report to. They need to rebuild that whole structure in the way it's working because it's not working.
Yeah.
Now,
because they have a direct line of communication with him and they can manipulate him.